Spider webs everywhere. Hickory nuts. Plenty. Well, I wouldn't say plenty, but there's several hickory nuts here. Maybe it ain't time for them to fall, but they look scarce. I'll lay them right over there. I don't know. I hope most of these big old trees are down, but I know they're not. This is a trap on a tree. There's a trap on that tree right there. We'll get a little closer and look. Been hanging there for a while. Hook to the tree. Huh. Something else. But that traffic down on the highway down there, it's just a constant roar. I can't stand it. I've got to get back in here off the other side of this mountain to where I can quieten 95% of that down. I mean, it's just a hum, a roar, a loud vehicle passes every once in a while. I like it silent. Not silent, but I don't like all this ambient, unnecessary noise, but I guess it's necessary to whoever's driving up down the road, isn't it? Let's get on up the hill here and see what we can come up with. We'll keep trying. Sit down here and rest a minute. I ain't even started up this hill. Literally, I come up here years ago and leveled out a spot right here. It's the only drawback. There's two drawbacks that I've got on my property and where it's at, location. One's that busy road that I hear this traffic constantly. And the next one is I don't have a running source of water that I have found yet on this whole place. Now I've got two wells I had drilled, but I'd dearly love to have a spring, a little branch or something on this property for several purposes. Not so much as having water to drink, but to help generate electric. I see people that's got little streams of water on their property with a pretty good fall, and I don't know whether they don't know, don't care, have not got into checking into it or whatever, but with a little effort, you can be off grid if you wanted to be to a certain degree, and you're generating with that water flow, as long as it maintains year round, you're generating electric 24/7. It ain't like solar panels, unless you can get some solar panels that captures the moonlight or something. I ain't seen any. But it's that perpetual water flow that turns them little impellers, and it turns a little alternator, basically, generator, alternator, whatever you want to call it, charges constantly. I'd love to have that. A lot of people do. A lot of people's got it set up like that. A lot of people don't. A lot of people's got the opportunity and either don't know it or just not interested in it. I don't know what it is. the earth, there's a lot of resources that people could tap into a little bit if they really set their mind to it. Round pumps. I've seen it. There's several of them that does it. Lord, I've seen a lot of them, but McGee Homestead, I can't remember the exact name, but I seen him. He's fixing to set him one up. Little round pump. Had a pretty nice looking one. It looked to me like, I think he said it's all made out of stainless steel, basically all of it. I look forward to watching him put that system together. And he will. It'll work too. I think it'll work. Them things will lift water a lot farther than people think. He'll work, it'll work. That's a good channel. I'm glad I found it here a while back. I'm not getting nothing done, just sitting here. I'm enjoying it. It's cool. There's a breeze blowing here in this shade. Cool. Of course, I'm wet, so it's evaporating a little bit. You know, I've been all over this hill, I think. There's a few spots just right here beyond, on the other side of this fence, up through there. There's some spots that I ain't actually walked over, but most of it I have. I'm gonna have to break out the water here and get me a little swaller here. I stuck this old canteen on the side, or whatever you want to call it, and I ain't too fond of drinking out of this old plastic. Get thirsty, you drink out of a mud hole. Yes, so wouldn't you? Whew. That stuff, that's not fit to drink out of, to tell you the truth. Of course, I've been drinking out of plastic all my life. Now they've come up with all these major problems that you get if you drink out of plastic or Dixie cups or whatever. I've listened to a lot of people talk and stuff about, oh, this is healthy for you, and this is a superfood, and this is loaded with antioxidants, and everything's healthy, superfood. Then on the other hand, I've heard people, oh, you don't want to eat this, you don't want to eat eggs, you don't want to drink coffee, oh, goodness gracious, you don't want no sugar, you don't want no honey, it's bad for you. Like this. So, I can tell you one thing, the outcome, regardless of what you eat, in the end, is going to be the same. It's going to be the same. Space travel. You ain't leaving this world alive. I've got news for people. You ain't leaving this world alive. You might fly up here 20, 30,000 feet in an airplane and go a little higher up to the space station. There's a limit. There's a limit. I think God created humanity. He created mankind and put him on this earth. He didn't put him on this earth to leave it not alive. They've tried to dig down deep into the earth And there's a well in Russia. I forget how deep it is, 8 mile, maybe about 8 mile deep or something. I reckon, I don't know, but everything they throwed at that well, bits, tools, everything, he'd just burn them up, melt them. You ain't going down. And if you head in any direction here that you want to head in, and just keep going straight in a straight like an arrow, eventually, if you keep going, you're going to run into an ice wall. Big, tall ice wall. You ain't going much further than that. Furthermore, the government won't even allow you to go much further for some reason. And going up, same difference. You is going so high. That's high as you're allowed to go. I don't know. It ain't for me to decide. I think I'll just stick around, keep both feet on the ground here at home, and just play it out like that till it ends. And ain't nobody knows that, do they? You don't know. Really, you don't. I'm trying to debate where to go. If I go back this way, of course, I'm just so high up on this hill. Oh, Lord, not even halfway, not even halfway. Just starting. I should go on up. And we will go a little further up through here. Let's do it. I'm telling you, everywhere you try to sit down, you get right here and you look, and you got a big limb over your head. It's kind of stupid to sit down here, really. Yeah, right there. And I'm going to move. I'm not going to sit under that. And there's another big one. Everywhere you go, you're sitting under a death trap up here. Just like I say, that's a level place down there. Pretty decent place. I need to be going that way, my friend, that way. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to just mosey on up that way. That's where I need to be, and that's where I'm going. Yeah, I had a video a while back. I don't know, last year before, of cutting a tree, and this big limb fell out and landed 3 or 4 feet from my feet. It was right there. Right there. Yeah. So, and all these other big trees, I cut this one. You can see the ribbon around it there. I cut this one, and I've got several of them cut for firewood. And lots, not all, but a lot of the little branches on these big ash trees have fallen out. Wind and stuff. There's still a lot of them that still got pretty good sized branches. I don't mind the trees when it's just a big tall trunk, just the trunk sticking up. That top is what you got to really watch, because it'll pop right out of there. It don't take much of a limb. You take one size, your arm falling 50 feet out of the sky, ain't gonna be healthy. ain't gonna be healthy. I'll rest here a minute. Now, I'm still maybe right at maybe halfway, not hardly, up this mountain. And I'm still on this side, my house side of the mountain. So I'm gonna get up here and I'll go through this gap, and then we'll be around to the side and heading over to the back side of the mountain. That stops a lot of this old noise. Let's get on up through here. Got my latch all sprung up here. We might be able to get it open. Yeah, I think we can. Yeah. If I don't, yeah, it's gonna rot. It's leaking bad there. Leaking bad. But really, the roof's leaking bad on this back side. If I don't get up here and get that fixed, it's gonna destroy it for sure. Looks to me like it's exactly the way I left it. Exactly. Which is good. This this thing is getting sprung. Getting sprung. Yeah. Gonna have to fix it. I don't know. It needs to come down, don't it? I think we could get it down. If we don't get it down on our head, let me see here. Maybe. We might get it down on our head, you never know. I'm gonna bend it. There we go. Death traps. I'm gonna walk up here. So I'll mark this right here and add a place. Okay. That's the way she rolls, ain't it? I'll wheel around here and show you a deer trail. That's a deer trail right there. Right down there's my feeder. This can is a can that these kids has shot up. There's something in there, flew out. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one Allie was shooting when she was up here. She hit it too. I think it was shooting a 17 caliber on that one. She put the whammy on it. I'll lay it right here. It's a lot quieter here than it is on the other side of the hill. I'd like to go on up, but I ain't got enough provisions to get up through there and back. It's quiet and peaceful. Right here is where I set my minerals, right here. And this tree is right over the top of it. That won't matter. That's natural. It'll stay there. It'll stay there. They'll cross it. I thought I'd just get out today and walk up in here. Humidity's down a little bit, quite a bit. And about, I'd say when I left the house, it's, I think 79. I'm gonna say it in the high 70s or low 80s, somewhere in that range right now. Well, let's make our way out of here. We'll make our way out of here with a stick in our hand to knock old spidey webs down. Spidey webs. I don't like them. I don't remember seeing these big broadleaf things. Let me see. I'll take a picture of it. This phone might actually tell me. Let's see if it will. What this is saying is that, and that's what it looks like, kindly, small flowered leaf cup, polymenia, whatever it is. Canadian leaf cup, bear's foot. It's called a bear's foot. And this is called a bear shooter. A bear's foot and a bear shooter. That's not what that is. I'm gonna try it again. That's not what that is. That leaf is different. Maybe this one will tell me. See if that'll do it. Same thing, bear's foot. A bear's foot. What it said anyway. A bear's foot. Lumber I brung up here years ago. Fence boards, 6 foot. Dog ear. Still there, man. Still there and still sound. This big old tree laying right here. Leaned over on that big tree and caused that tree to lean. And this one finally give out because it was way far gone further than that one. The limbs finally rotted off and let it lay down here. It crossed here, I had to cut it all out and move it. But now you got this big tree laying arched. But it's still rooted pretty good. Now the big tree, it's hit the ground. There's lots of them. There's lots of them trees that's down. But now, if you look, you'll see some still there waiting. Big limbs up there. Yeah. And we're going down that way right there. Mm-hmm. No squirrels. No rabbits. No deer. No blue jays. No crows. No hawks. No woodpeckers. I've seen nothing. That's not good. You know, people don't realize, and I don't know the statistics, but what I've read and come across, that there's, my God, 60% of the animals on this earth are dead, gone. And there's a few people out there that's trying to preserve our wildlife. And people look at them like they're crazy. But they're not crazy. It would be a sad place to not have animals coexisting with us. Can you imagine a world with no chickens? Or a world with no cows? Or a world with no pigs? No deer? It can happen. You know, people don't like squirrels. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of people do. I enjoy them. I mean watching them and having them around. They can be destructive, little devils. But I'll tell you one thing. You know, people gets out and plant trees. What do you call them? Arborist, or I don't know what you call them. People that plants trees. Their job to plant them. It would pale in comparison to a gray squirrel. And the reason I know, because in my garden down there, when I was putting wood chips on it, been through a chipper. Limbs, trees, limbs, leaves, everything. And I understand a few nuts would probably get through, but as fast as those blades turn, it'd be very few. Every year, I have to pull up hickory trees and walnut trees out of my garden. And it's squirrels that bring them in. They bring them in and bury them. And they do the same thing out here in the woods. It's nature, it's in their DNA to hide and store food around. Well, in the process, they're planting those seeds. And that's what helps generate the forest. It's squirrels, the wildlife. Don't never take them for granted. God made a perfect, balanced world in the beginning. And I guess we're all guilty, but the big corporate giants that has nothing on their mind but a dollar. They have nothing on their mind but making money. And they'll start these little clubs like Save the Spotted Owl or whatever to make people think that they're really caring and trying to preserve nature. BS is what that is. If they did, they wouldn't keep pumping the toxic pollutants out like they do. But if they can show it a little ad or two on TV how they're trying to save the snowy owl or something, it makes people, oh, they're really trying. Like BP, oh, they're really trying. Yeah, they're destroying the Gulf practically. And then they changed their name to protect the innocent. You ever wonder where BP went? All these stations, BP? They changed their name, didn't they? You ever wonder where Monsanto went? They didn't change their name, they just switched over, didn't they, to what is it, Bayer Corporation? They play under a complete different set of rules than the normal Joe does. I could sit and harp about it. It does no good. It don't do no good. It takes someone in authority that has the authority to do the right thing and not sell their soul out for a dollar. You wouldn't want to be a leader of a country and sell out to another country like China or somewhere like that, would you? No. And the people in their right mind wouldn't tolerate that. They wouldn't tolerate it. Everybody evidently has got in their little normalcy bias and their little comfort zone, and they just, there it goes. And just like I've said myself, there ain't anything we can do about it but gripe. Well, someone needs to do something about it, and that's all of us. Putting up with the antics and nonsense that's going on in our government in the United States of America today and been going on, and if something ain't done will continue, is pathetic. And anyone that's got two sets of eyes and can see dimly can see that. They can see what's going on. It's sickening. It just blows my mind. And one left side, right side, Democrats, Republicans, it don't matter. We're on one planet, we're one people, and we should have one thing on the agenda, and that's living in harmony. And you know that it's just ridiculous. You mark down what I'm telling you right now. You watch taxes, they already are, I know that, and everybody else should know that, but you watch your taxes and your interest rates and especially taxes on property and all this stuff in the near future start going straight up. I told my wife years ago, I said, it's coming a day that the people in charge, in order to preserve their way of life and to eat their little steak and lobster and sit in their little air-conditioned cubicles and with their little suits and ties on and act important, will tax the people to death. They'll tax them everything that they can get out of them, and it's all for our good. When they come at you and say it's for your good, this is the benefit of the public, look out. What it is for the benefit of their well-being. Now, I understand that you have to be in a balanced criteria. A government office, any kind of utility should be a non-profit organization, and they claim to be, most of them. But someone's I could tell you a good story about an bunch of people that used to be in this county, but I won't. Not today anyway. But I know some stuff that's pathetic, and that's why when I see this going on, it sickens me to the core. I know what a lot of them has been capable of. We've got some new blood. Well, I won't say new blood, but new people in positions right now. I've not known many people that went into that run for a political office. They could be the best, honest people in the world. If they stayed in there for 8 years, they'd wind up being batting in the wrong end of the bat, you know. I'm just whining and griping. Again, that's all it seems that people can do anymore, just whine and gripe. I don't know what it takes. I don't know what it takes. Oh, you can vote more people in. It's the system is corrupt, man. The system in itself. It's designed, it's laid out, it's been manipulated so long that you can put an honest person in office and they'll be corrupt within 4 to 8 years. You might not know it, and they might not show it. There's too many under the table thousands and $25,000s and $50,000 exchanges in order to purchase things. Yeah. But anyway, I had a guy to break into my Pepsi machine. I caught him red-handed. Not a kid. He was a grown man. Had one guy sitting in the truck. He was out. I seen him pull in my shop down there from the house. I sat there and I thought, well, he didn't pull on out the drive. It's a loop drive, 2 entrances. So I just happened to be sitting there, and I jumped on my four-wheeler, and down the road I went. At that time, it was gravel in front of my shop. And when I went around, I got wound up going over the hill and turned the motor off and coasted down through there, pretty swift speed. Got around through there, and there he was, and he'd run with something down to his side. It was a drill. He had a drill. What he was doing was drilling the latches out of the Coke machine and screwing like a dent puller in and popping the latch out, opening the door and grabbing the dollars. He didn't jack with the change much. They'd grab the dollars. It happened several times down there. I thought, well, I'm going to get that license plate number. They took off. He run, jumping vehicle, spinning gravels, and I pushed them through the driveway with that four-wheeler right again in their bumper. I got their license plate number. I called the sheriff, got them up there. Deputy come up. It's been several years back. And told them, I said, I want them prosecuted. Because in my mind, I could see these turkeys traveling all over the county, and several counties, no doubt, hitting every little country store, every little Coke machine they could. People had out there, you know, for convenience of people, but yet you'd make $1 or $2. They'd steal the money. Well, you steal it one time, and the rest of the year you wouldn't compensate for that. You wouldn't make up for it. I called the Pepsi people and told them, I said, I've caught this guy I ain't got him, and I don't know his name, but I said, I got the license plate. Caught him red-handed. And I said, if you will prosecute them, I'll go to court with you. Not a word was ever said. Not a peep was ever said. Neither from the sheriff with their number, their license plate number. Not a thing was ever done by the sheriff. And Pepsi, not a word. Not a peep. So I thought, if they don't care. So I took a fork truck and got under the machine and moved it around back and unplugged it and done away with it. Still sitting in the same place it was. I ain't heard nothing from nobody. Anyway, I'm done rattling before I get mad. Let's get out of here. Well, you can turn people in and do what you think's right when it hits the system, if they're known by some of the people. That's where she dies at. It don't go no further than that. And that, my friend, is the rest of the story.